Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And what's this show called?
It's your Bloody Happy Hour.
What do we do here?
Well, we're going to tell you a story about a true crime situation that has happened, but we do that while we have beverages because we can't. It's Bloody Happy Hour. So we tell a bloody story while we have our own happy hour and while you also have happy hour with us while you listen to the bloody story.
Yeah, and what are we drinking today?
We are drinking blue coconut chihuahua.
Nope. So, have you ever heard of Kenny Chesney? I don't know why I'm asking you this.
Yes.
Okay. He has his own rum. And Sweepy's best friend works for Kenny Chesney's rum business. Blue Chair Bay. That old blue chair. No, means nothing to you. Well, he's one of my faves, but this is some lime rum, and it is amazing. Shout out to Zeb, but this is some good rum. And so we're taking a little 1 or 2 week
break from tequila.
From tequila.
The next time we're going to have like Casamigos, and it's going to be a whole thing.
1800, and we're just going to spend the night at the Alico.
Yeah.
So,
Or should we spend the night in Hong Kong?
that's not in Korea because we
Okay,
have a correction.
We have a corrections corner. We have a corrections corner, and that is that apparently, allegedly, maybe some people interpreted in a previous episode, Hello Kitty, that maybe we were a little misinformed as to where China was versus Korea, or Hong Kong was versus North Korea or South Korea.
We were,
and we for sure were, because we're not geographists. And just because April is a teacher, she's even more. I'm more of a geographist than she is, mainly because I look at maps daily. I'm a mapist.
Yeah. No.
But it's just the United States maps. So we would like to say that we still don't know where Hong Kong and Korea is.
I was for sure. I was like, I think it's Japan. But it's actually China. We did look it up.
Where's Japan?
It's near China. I don't know where Japan is. We'll figure that out by the next episode.
Why would we?
This is no disrespect. It's just the world is so big and I can't.
It's such a big world. It's like so flat.
And I memorized it in school when we had to do the continents.
Listen,
and
I know I know every state because I
Yes.
remember the song. Okay. So if anybody gonna get attitude with my geography, well,
And this is a veteran listener. Like, she should know that our geography is shit.
I think she just really liked that. Well, by the way, Fangirl Cheryl, there you go. There's your
Yeah.
clarification.
Yeah.
There it is.
You're welcome.
You are welcome. And what else was there?
This episode was recommended to you by...
Oh, yes. This episode was recommended to me by Lacey, and she watched the 2020 episode and was like, OMG, have you heard of this? And I was like, tell me about it. And she told me about it, and I looked it up, and I was like, no, but this is insane and crazy, and I love it, and I'm doing it.
And thank you, Lacey, because it wasn't even her turn to do a story, but I was
I know.
not prepared. And
I thought it was my turn to do a
she
story.
was so eager
by
to
the
do
way,
it.
I'm doing another story, and you know what? It's fine. I can't ever remember anything anyways.
She
so-
saved me. Thank you,
So I
Jelly
saved
Roll.
things. That's how
Somebody saved me.
So if you want to guess where we're going,
Okay. Is it...
it's in the United
Kong.
States.
Okay.
It's definitely not Hong Kong. It's not Korea. It's probably where the craziest and the most
Florida.
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 So we're going to Florida.
Okay.
And which is the best place to go because that's where all the things happen. So it was October 4th, 2008 in Boynton Beach, Florida. Apparently a lot of
Heard of it.
stuff
Bunch of
happens there.
times. Yep.
This is Michael Dippolito. That's not his last name, but that's what I'm going to say because it's Dippolito. Dippolito. He was like, hey, I'm married, but I don't care. I want to escort for the night, and I got money.
He wanted to dip his little Lito.
He wanted to dip his Lito into the fountain of youth, and he apparently had the money because he was an entrepreneur of sorts, and it was about 35 minutes that it took for, his little service girl to come, and shows up at the door is 26-year-old Dalia Muhammad.
Never trusted Dalia.
Never trusted Dalia. Never.
Probably Muhammad too.
About to say the same. Apparently her dad was Egyptian and her mom was something else, but I just remembered Egyptian. But on the door, knocks on the door, whatever she did to him, apparently just
Hypnotized him.
Because 2 weeks later, he is serving divorce papers to his wife. 2
I
weeks.
left home to be with my side piece.
There you go. Michael Dippolito filed for divorce from his wife of 7 years.
The next day? Sounds like it.
2 weeks later, and then immediately proposed to Dalia.
Dalia.
with a $20,000 engagement ring from his
What?
entrepreneurial endeavors. So then February 2nd, 2009, just 4 months later, the two get married, which obviously that escalated quickly. And so Dalia and Michael, the new Dua Lipas of the town, they're just like super affectionate, like 25-8 PDA.
Wow.
All the time. They can't get enough of each other, to the point to where their friends are like, no, y'all need to stop. Y'all are gross. It's too much. We're uncomfortable. We don't like this. And they're like, we're just very loving. And we're just like so into our marriage and blah, blah, blah. But then about a month into the marriage, at the door, knock, 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 there comes the probation officer.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Of who?
Unannounced visit. Probation officer for Michael.
Oh, Michael.
Well, apparently Michael had served 7 months in prison back in 2001 for a fraud operation. And he was let out early, but was given 28 years probation.
What?
Just 28.
What? Just,
it's
just
fine.
A quick 28
It's
years.
fine. But this was the first time that a probation officer had ever come by. And according to this JCS criminal psychology, that's where some of this is coming from. Okay. So that's just the source. The probation officer and 2 detectives confronted Michael, saying that they had received multiple anonymous calls about him selling drugs from his home.
Okay.
That he shared with Dalia. And they searched and searched and they had found nothing. Okay. So next weekend.
Ex-wife is pissed.
Don't know about ex-wife. Next weekend, Dalia and Michael, they go to this resort in Palm Beach. And they're like, yeah, we're just like here for the weekend. Towards the end of the trip, they wake up and the police are there again, searching his car. In the parking lot, claiming that they received another anonymous call that he was dealing drugs out of his car.
Ex-wife
and once again,
the cops. She's pissed. She got left.
Once again, they find nothing. 2 weeks later, Michael and Dalia finish having dinner at this lovely restaurant, and they find police searching his car again. But this time, they find a little baggie of cocaine packed like inside a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, it's Dalia.
Why'd you change your mind?
Because it's actually in there now. So she had to make sure they found it.
So Michael was like pleading with the police, and he was like, no, I'm being set up. This has happened so many times. It's like over and over, and I have no idea where this cocaine came from. These are all false accusations, and these calls, this is the third one that I've got, and like whatever. And so the police decide to let him go. They believe him, and they do think that somebody's trying to set him up, so they let him go. So the next morning, Dalia breaks the news to Michael and says that she's pregnant.
Oh, well, dang.
And now they're just like
it's
together.
Like it's always the red flag.
And they're going to just get ready for their next chapter. And they're just going to like, here we go. Get ready for our life together because now you're pregnant. Okay. All this is going to, okay. So a couple months later, it's just been like, now it's like the summer of 2009. It's just like been a couple of months.
Yeah.
Dalia and Michael wake up around 5:45. She typically like goes to the gym and he goes and walks the dogs. About an hour later, she's at the gym and she receives like a phone call at the gym. And she's like, it's unexpected. She misses the first call and then she answers the second call. And it's a sergeant from the Boynton police department. And he's like asking her to come home, immediately says that something happened. So she rushes home and she was shocked when she gets there because she sees like all these police cars, ambulance, there's crime scene tape. And Dalia walks up to the police. And that's when they tell her that they had responded to a call of shots fired in her home earlier that morning and that her husband, Michael Dippolito, was dead.
Oh, my goodness. So quick. Wow.
So police bring Dalia to the police station, and they are like consoling her because she's like freaking out. So they ended up, she's freaking out. They go to the station, and she's like, well, he's on probation, and somebody's been setting him up lately from like all of these occasions have been happening where somebody's been putting like drugs in his car or been calling the cops on him anonymously, and we don't know why that's been happening. So she's basically trying to be like,
yeah, like there's a pattern of weird things going on in our life, and it all started happening when I got into his life.
Exactly. And so she's like, I mean, somebody's been setting him up, and she gives a couple of names of his business associates and is like, well, maybe they like got mad because they were in legal trouble because, you know, he did do this like fraud case and it was penny stock and the whole thing. So there could be people that were mad at him for stealing all of their money and all the things. So maybe. But then police tell Dalia that Michael had been shot twice, and it looked like that he had answered the door and then he was attacked. And so Dalia's sobbing, and she's like super like distressed, and the police officers then bring in this guy in handcuffs. So they bring in this random guy in cuffs and into the interrogation room because they're interrogating. And so they ask, hey, do you recognize this guy? And she says no. And they ask her again, do you recognize this guy? And she's like, no, I've never seen him.
Ever.
And she said, this is the man that we caught leaving your house after responding to the 911 calls. So they caught somebody. Okay. And Dalia's like, no, I've never seen him. So they're like, get him out of here. Take him out of the room. Okay. So the next man that they bring in to confront Dalia, any guesses? Oh,
No.
The detective opens the door and walks in Michael Dippolito. He's alive and well.
What?
Detectives tell Dalia, quit the act.
Okay.
Quit the games. We know the truth. And so does everyone else, including your husband.
Oh, I know it.
You do?
It was an undercover cop.
Yes. So they know that Dalia hired a hitman to kill her husband that morning. And fortunately for Michael, the hitman she hired was an undercover cop.
Yes.
So now you got to rewind.
I feel like she was beautiful, right?
That's what they said. But no, I do not think she was beautiful at all. And she had this weird lisp. And every time she talked, her tongue turns around.
What was her last name, Dalia?
Her last name is Dippolito.
There we go. Okay.
And I say,
ew, no, she's not.
Exactly. She obviously does good at other things. So back when Michael was being set up for like dealing drugs, he had actually confronted Dalia. So like he kept being like set up like, oh, anonymous caller, drugs in your car, anonymous caller, drugs in your car. So finally the third time he confronted her and was like, because he's like,
Michael did.
He was like, there's nobody else that knows that we were at dinner that like tonight. There's nobody here, like whatever. And he's like, you're the only one that knows. Like, did you plant drugs in my car? And she like freaked the F out. She's driving at the time. I guess, she's driving time. She's going crazy. She's going 100 miles an hour, speeding like a crazy person. He's like, no. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know. I really don't think it's you. And she calms down. Police later say that part of the reason they let him go that night was because they had a feeling that Dalia actually had something to do with it based on how she was acting, because husband's freaking out like, that's not my drugs. Those are not my cigarettes. That's not the things. Calm. And she's just chilling in the back, probably like,
what is her motive?
Well, did I tell you she was an escort before this?
Money?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep. Money. And she's just a hoe. She's literally just a hoe. And she looks like, and she has like up the, and
She looks like she's lived a long life, hard life.
she is just, oh gosh. Anyway, she gives 0 fucks. She did not care. She sat there, no emotion. The next morning, so it was then after the alleged cocaine was planted in the cigarette box, it was that next morning that she lied to her husband, telling him that she was pregnant. Because she thought that he was like catching on to whatever. And so, because then he accused her or asked her. So she said she's pregnant. And obviously she for sure was not. And she was like, I'm just basically doing this to make him take his mind off of whatever, anything else. So the same day that she had originally told him she was pregnant, she texted an ex-boyfriend saying that she wanted to hook up with him because she missed him. And his texts were vulgar. Basically, like, she's like throwing out the thirst trap and like just being like, here's this and here's that and whatever. And I want to meet up with you and blah, blah, blah.
And maybe you'll kill this guy for me.
Yeah, well, that's what she goes to. She has multiple sources. So this guy, she just basically like talks to and then ghosts him. Then she talks to him and then ghosts him. Then talks to him and ghosts him. So it's like the cycle. But he doesn't care because he still meets up with her. And like basically she meets up with him because she wants him to pose as a lawyer. Okay, just listen. She wants him to pose as a lawyer to her new husband, who she hated, and tells him that in order for husband, to get off probation, he would need to move his house solely in her name. So the ex-boyfriend calls Michael, poses as a lawyer, tells him that and Michael says he did this for his pregnant wife. And after all this happened, Dalia, of course, never talked to the ex-boyfriend again because that's what she does. So she uses one boyfriend to get her name changed into his house. Then Dalia contacts another ex-boyfriend and she asks him to hire a hitman to kill her current husband.
What?
Now that the house was in her name,
she's got some bomb.
She would be left the house and everything, but he needed to die.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I guess being an escort.
That's one way to get a house.
And having the Rolodex of men, you just can.
And some fire poontang has to be.
I guess, or maybe a good mouth that you don't like.
Her lips are pretty luscious, so maybe.
Oh, but she's not cute to me at all. At all. And I think females are cute. So so basically they're like, okay, but this ex, so she goes and she contacts this ex and she's like, I need somebody to become my husband. And he is like, oh, interesting. He doesn't ever say yes or no because guess what? He drives straight to the police department. And he was like, bro, this chick that I used to date, like, she just came up to me and she's like trying to get me to kill her husband. And he tells her all the things, all the intentions. He's like wanting to hire a hitman. This bitch wants to do this. She wants to pay me. She wants all the things. And they're like, okay, like, well, let's just figure this out. So they get a camera planted in his car. They're like, hey, you need to go meet up with her.
Yes.
And
I love when they're down to actually investigate something. And they go all out like that.
But there's a reason for it. And it's real funny. Because they basically like do this whole thing for the show Cops.
Oh. I remember seeing the video of him in the car, her in the car with the alleged hitman. Okay.
And so they have they planted a camera in his car. They're like, go meet back up with her. Blah, blah, blah. So they plant this camera. And then when they're in the car, so she's meeting up back with the ex-boyfriend in the car. And Dalia gives him a picture of Michael, a picture of the house, and a $3,000 down payment.
Damn.
All this is on camera. But police decide they're like, okay, we're gonna take the sting operation a step further. And now we're gonna like coordinate her meeting with the hitman. Because the hitman is an undercover cop.
Yes.
So now they have all the things. And so they were like, okay, let's just like supposed to be with his ex. Oh yeah. Which is interesting because the ex is basically like the ex-boyfriend is screwing her over, which is great. So it's not even been 6 months that they've been together. They've been married for not 6 months. And she's already trying to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, she wants his house and his money.
Yeah. So she gets into this car with this hitman that's hired by her ex-boyfriend.
And everything for her.
I know, like
the
wife. I don't know what happened. So, the hitman was supposedly this like undercover narcotics agent or whatever, but she is like very willing to say anything to like she's willing to tell him things, but she doesn't come out and directly say, "I want you to kill my husband."
Okay.
And she doesn't say like those exact words. He says, like, "Do you really want me to kill him? Like, are you sure? Because once you leave this car, it's like there's no turning back." And she responds and she goes, 5,000%.
Oh.
5,000%.
Wow.
So, but she doesn't say, "I want you to kill my husband," 5,000%.
Yeah.
She just says 5,000%. So anyway, they decided together that the best plan would be for her to go to the gym early in the morning. Michael usually takes the dogs for a walk. And then Michael would come back to the house and the hitman would strike while she's at the gym. So the morning of that Dalia showed up at the gym at 5:45, the police show up at Michael and Dalia's house. They knock on the door. Michael's there and they're like, "Hey, Michael, we're the police and your wife's trying to kill you right now. So we're going to take you to the station.
We'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Get in the car."
And they're like, "She thinks that a hitman is coming to your house to kill you. So we need to take you out of here because we're going to do a sting operation." And he's like,
"Yes."
What?
The moment where he regrets everything.
All the regrets. So they take Michael to the station. They set up like police cars, news cameras, crime scene tape, all the things. And this is about an hour later. Then the police called Dalia. She comes home from the gym. They inform her that her husband's been murdered, which actually he has not been murdered. And now all these like news cameras and everything, well, she thinks they're news cameras, but actually they're cameras for the TV show Cops. And they're recording everything. And they're like, like she's, basically everybody there knows her husband is not dead. They don't let her go inside the house. They're like, "No, you can't see it. We just need to take you to the station." They're all actors.
Yeah, I love
and
it. I love it.
The clip of that moment that I'm going to play is basically the police telling her that her husband's dead. And listen closely to the officer, because even before they say your husband has been killed, she screams and yells like in sorrow before he even gets the word killed out. Yeah, it's so bad.
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am, he's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Listen.
No.
Try to calm down. Listen, right now we need to get you to the station. We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you stay, man. We have to do our job. If you want us to find this killer, okay, we need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to go with these detectives.
Okay.
What? I remember that fake ass crying.
I'll keep going because we got another one. So after bringing her to the station, everybody continued to stay in character. They even brought in the undercover cop in handcuffs, which I told you about earlier.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, have you seen this? Do you recognize him?" She's like, "No, I've never seen him." And even though she like literally met him, told him like 5,000% to kill my husband, they were like, well, this is when they break the news to her, and they are like, actually, everything that you said in that car was recorded, and you're going to jail. And they're like, we have videos of everything. And she's like, well, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. No. I didn't do anything. I didn't do that. Nope. Didn't do it. And they're like, ma'am, we have the footage. Look, here it is. And she's like, nope, I didn't do that. Nope. So they're like, stop acting, bitch. They tell her to stop acting. They have all the evidence, and she still won't say nothing. She doesn't understand what's happening, and it's like she's like, we heard you hired somebody, you paid somebody money, and then the detective tells her, well, your husband is actually alive, obviously, and then they bring Michael in the room, and let me play you one more clip.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He's alive.
Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here. Come here, please. Come here.
I can't fix it.
Why not? I didn't do anything to
heard you.
Mike, come here, please. Come here.
Ma'am, I'm not going to need you to tell me, come here, come here.
No.
So he's standing there with his arms folded, and he's like, bitch, please get out of here. So detectives are like, this case is open and closed. We have footage of everything, whatever. Pictures, we got the money. So they have everything, except now they're going to try to get a confession. So they're not pushing too hard because they don't need a confession, but they just kind of want one, just whatever.
That'll help the case.
Yeah. And so, because they have so much evidence. And so Dalia does not confess. She denies everything. And they show her the footage, and she still says, I didn't do this. Like, are you deny? So eventually they take her to jail, and she gets her first phone call.
She calls the first boyfriend.
She calls Michael. Who she just tried to kill. She calls Michael, and she's like straight up gaslight city because she's like, hey, Michael, I need you to hire a lawyer for me.
Oh, please.
And he's like, bitch, you just tried to kill me. He didn't say that, but he's like, I know you just tried to kill me. She's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, Dalia, they showed me everything. They showed me all the footage.
Dalia.
Yeah.
You can't be trusted.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, they showed me the footage. And she's like, they showed me too. And I didn't do anything. And it wasn't me.
It was chopped and screwed and
edited. It was chopped and screwed. And they were doing that LBC
Mike Jones
sidewalk with the crip walk. And so Dalia just is like, the husband's like, they literally showed me footage of you saying that you wanted to kill me. And
5,000%.
She's like, you think I'd do that to you? 5,000%?
I mean, you planted cocaine in my car.
Yeah. So apparently, according to this criminal psychology thing, they're like, oh, this is narcissistic and sociopathic.
I mean, gaslighting all the way.
Obviously. So Dalia would spend 20 months in jail before going to trial, April 2011. She's pleading not guilty. And at the trial, they claim that the whole thing is a hoax.
What?
Because they together as a couple were trying to get Michael on a reality TV show because he loved reality TV and he just wanted to be on TV. So her lawyer, her defense comes up and they get up and they say, You can't believe this because the only reason she
You've
acted
been punked.
the only reason she acted like this was because they wanted this outcome. And all of a sudden Michael changed his mind and then he didn't want it. So he's like kind of framing her. Like
Ashton Kutcher never showed up, and so he changed his mind.
Yeah. And they wanted to be like, oh, my wife hired this hitman, and it was this whole like show.
Michael.
Yeah. So that's like yeah. So she's innocent. It was they planned it all together. Mm-hmm.
Michael, you made a deal with the devil though, so I really kind of don't feel sorry for you.
So Dalia is facing up to 30 years in prison.
Should.
The jury deliberated, and after 3 hours on May 13th, they found her guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and the judge gave her 20 years in prison. And in an interview afterwards, Mike said that he wished they were never together, and he was 5,000% happy with the sentence. Case closed, right?
Oh, you wish you never would have called a hooker that night?
Oh, guess what?
What? He got back with his wife.
The case is not closed.
She appealed.
Mm-hmm.
And she got it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she never said, I want him killed.
So only a few months later, in 2014, the appeals court granted an appeal based on that there was a problem during jury selection. So the appeals court ruled that the judge at the time didn't do enough to ensure that the jury was sequestered from the media and publicity. And they found that the judge should have questioned jurors individually, blah, 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 blah. He should have, it's just the whole thing.
That's one of the ones for Scott Peterson too.
Okay, so I can read it. The appeals court found that the judge should have questioned the jurors individually rather than as a group regarding how much they knew about the case. It also found that the judge should have dismissed the entire jury when one prospective juror revealed that she had read about Dippolito's attempt at poisoning her husband.
What?
Well, apparently she tried to poison her husband. So she walked free on house arrest and was getting a second trial. So Dalia's second trial would be in 2016. This time she hired 2 high-profile attorneys. I don't know where she gets all this money. And they kind of stuck with this reality show defense that claimed Mike and everybody was in on it. But they didn't really go that hard on that defense, and they kind of started to blame the police and the media, and they were saying it was done for like the show, and and I was like, ooh, it's kind of right. And that the prosecutor, they were like, well, was there a script and this and that, and it was just like this whole other case. And also the defense didn't do the exact same thing that they did on the first trial. And so the second trial, the first trial they had Michael testify. The second trial, they did not have him testify. And that didn't really...
And it was his same lawyers? Or did he have
he might have had the same ones.
Okay, but she had separate.
But like basically the first time he testified, and the second time he did not. And so they said that the presence of the cops created a frenzy in the department to manufacture good TV, and that Dalia was thrown under the bus. Dalia's lawyer was making his closing argument, and he mentioned to the jury that they should allow her to go back home to her family and her infant son.
She was pregnant? Or no?
This was a shocker to everyone because no one knew about this child. It turns out that an appliance repairman came to the house while she was on house arrest. They talked and they fell in love, and she got pregnant and they had a son.
What?
Because between trial 1 and 2, she was on house arrest for 6 months with 6 years with an ankle bracelet.
Oh, because she got the appeal and they let her out till her second trial?
Yes.
I think I missed that. And then she got pregnant because she couldn't go to work, so she had something delivered and screwed him.
Yes. So the jury on this case, on this trial, was unable to reach a decision.
What? So she's at home breastfeeding.
So they were deadlocked, and it was a mistrial. So the prosecution immediately got to work on the trial, and they were like, there was no thought in their mind that she would go free. So the third trial begins in June of 2017. This time the prosecutors went back to their original strategy, and they had Mike testify again.
Yeah, take it more seriously
because he
this
was
time.
he was very likable. So I watched him on the first, and he was just sincere and likable and like a good guy.
I thought maybe they were being safe, thinking that they wouldn't like him, considering like his story of how they got together. Good.
So they tried to humanize the victim, Michael, and give more context to everything as a whole. The case was finally turned over to the jury. They deliberated for only 90 minutes. Dalia Dippolito was found guilty. She was given 16 years in prison. Her current release date is 2032. And if she serves the whole sentence, she'll be 49 years old when she's released. And Dalia's attorneys have tried over and over and over to get the case thrown out. But Florida's 4th District Court of Appeals upheld her conviction in 2019. And they had a request to review it, and the appeals court was like, in February 2020, they were like, nope, we're not reviewing this shit. This bitch is going to stay up in here.
Wow.
And there's your story about Dua Lipa Dippolito.
Wow.
This dumb
she
bitch.
needs to stay in there. She's pretty bad.
She's the worst. If you go watch her, you will see how much of the worst that she is, because the way she talks, I can't. It's like a lisp and a tongue switch, and I don't know what's happening, but I can't. And she's just has no emotion. I just can't stand her.
So was it her plan the whole time? Like, it's just like, how did you concoct this so quick? Did you want to do that when you were?
I think she just was like, I think maybe if she's this much of a hoe, she probably was like, well, I don't want to I think she just thought he had money and she wanted his money, but then maybe she didn't want to hoe with him and she wanted to hoe with other guys, and she just was like, oh, let's just kill him. Why do people think that they just need to kill their spouse? Like, if you're cheating on them, why is your first option to kill them? Because you're embarrassed to get a divorce.
No, she wanted something out of it.
Yeah.
She wanted the house. She wanted the money. She wanted whatever. She wanted something out of it. I was just wondering, did she really like him at first? Probably not, because I don't think she was capable of it.
I think she just wanted maybe she thought he had money for some reason.
Yeah,
or maybe she was attracted because he was like a I don't know. Maybe she didn't know. I have no idea. All I know is
good
that
story.
There was a bunch of twists and turns in that story, and
good story. Okay. Well, I guess you got to hear me for the next 2 episodes then.
Can we please go back to Hong Kong?
So I was going to do a Patreon Hong Kong because the story is so X-rated. I mean, and then we'll, of course, take it to another level.
I have a case for you.
Of course, take it to a new level.
Yeah.
So it's probably got to be Patreon.
Okay, good.
But I do have one that I'm listening to that I will record for the regular episode. That is in Canada, actually.
Oh.
Yes. What case do you have for me? And why don't you have it for you?
Because it's actually on trial right now, and it's almost like Toy Box Killer. It's brutal.
What's it called?
I don't remember his name, but I watched a little bit of it, but he's on trial right now. Yeah.
I vaguely remember. Did we do the Toy Box Killer?
Yeah.
David Parker Ray? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we did then. Okay. All right, y'all. Send us some episodes that you want us to record.
Yeah, because this one was totally like a request by a listener. So
yeah, we put them in our list somewhere and we end up getting to them at some point. Look, I have a long list that I'm just like slowly marking them off.
Oh, you do have a long list.
So we will see y'all next week. Don't forget to, and I think we're going to Canada.
Okay.
Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That means down to find. These cops were down to find.
Oh, for sure.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.